Oh, hi there. I'm Gazbot. It's Wednesday. I haven't even finished editing and putting up my last video, but I felt like I had to talk about a card I just did that I wasn't happy with. It's fine. It's passable. I'm sure whoever gets it will be happy. I don't even know if it's my least favorite I've done. It's certainly in the bottom half, but the main reason isn't because it's so terrible, but because of what I wanted it to be. And this is a problem I have a lot, where the rough sketch or the loose pencils or the gesture or the layout or whatever I like. And then the more I work on it, the less I like it. And I get it kind of the pencils, and then I get to the inks, and then I try to save it with like grayscale or color or ink noodling or whatever. And I've heard other artists talk about this having the same problem. One argument would be, hey, work looser, but like, it's not me, you know? But anyway, the point I'm making is that this card is fine. By any other standard, people probably look at it and say, like, this looks about the average of all the ones you've done. And depending on what you think of my artwork, that would put it, you know, where the level is, but it's at least my average work. But because I knew what I wanted, and because of how far it fell from what I wanted and how it felt, it is a bummer. Meanwhile, I got a horrible night's sleep last night. I was up in the middle of the night several times, and I just... so I had a break today, and instead of getting anything done... Well, this morning I finished the card that I said, but then when I had a break, I napped. And as I've talked before, I'm bad at napping. I do terrible naps. But for an hour to an hour and a half, I was in bed, and I woke up a few times, fell asleep a few times, but I needed it. I've since woken up, and I started working on editing the last video. So that's what I've done with the free time I've had where I wasn't sleeping. So we'll see what I get done later tonight. But today, not as bad as the other day when I was sick, but not a great productive day right now either. For lunch, I'm having instant ramen. I like to get Sapporo Ichiban brand, and it's the miso because that's the vegetarian kind. But I usually will put something in it. More often than not, I'll put bread, but the healthier way, if you look, is to put 2 eggs while I'm cooking it, and it becomes a nice thick gruel. That's the main thing. It's not done the correct Japanese style. It's done the gruel style. It's still Wednesday. It's 4 something. I have to cook dinner relatively soon, like an hour or whatever. So I'm not gonna have time to do anything else until maybe after dinner, but I still feel out of sorts. I guess like right after I took the nap, I felt horrible. And I ate some peanut butter with sugar and had another cup of decaf coffee, and I felt slightly better. And I've kind of got back to where I was earlier today, where I don't feel great, but I feel okay. One thing I've realized about myself after the various years of sleep deprivation for various reasons in various ways, etc., is that when I'm very sleep deprived, I'm a mess, just like everybody else. When I'm slightly sleep deprived, I'm still able to function fairly well. I could drive, I could do dishes. I did laundry and I did dishes and I did things like that today, and it's fine. Where I have difficulty is social interactions. Like, I'm just flat. I have no enthusiasm. I have no patience, and also art, creativity, like just having to think like abstractly or deeply is much more difficult. I don't have the motivation to do it. Maybe I could do it, but basically at this level of tiredness, I'm like, okay, I could get through the day and do everything I need to do, but I'm just waiting until the end of the day is basically where I'm at. But I'm not like insane or feeling sick to my stomach or something, which is when you have worse, sleep deprivation. Anyway, whatever. I'm just saying I'm able to go do my stuff, but it's hard to do other stuff. I have this tackle box looking thing called an art bin that I've had since I went to Joe Kubert for 1 year in 1995 in Dover, New Jersey. Some of the stuff in here, I mean, things have been added, removed over the years. I actually don't use it that often anymore. But some of the things, like, I know for a fact, I'm 99% sure this has been there since Joe Kubert, or if not, shortly thereafter. Other things are newer, but then there's also random stuff. Like I just noticed, where is it? I have some big piece white. This I use for ink splatter when I'm doing traditional. I thought I saw some fake blood. Oh, here. Why is there fake blood in there? I don't know. This bin here, this is my snack. This is all warm gray. This is all cool gray. This is what I got originally. It's the cool gray set. Then I got the warm. Then I had to start doing colors. So I have all these colors. Most of these are for flesh, and I'm still missing like the real fleshes I need. Down there is all refills. But inevitably, it used to be that, I don't have purple, so I had to get a purple. Generally speaking, you want to have like 3 shades of each color. At least this is what I've come to believe. But then like I have all these blues, and inevitably it's like, oh, these blues don't work. Or like this one's good, but like it doesn't blend well with that one. And I could take whatever I get with the Copics and enhance it with an overlay of colored pencil at the end. That'll make my life a lot easier. So that's what I'm gonna try now. Good luck to me. While we're on the subject of traditional or analog gear, I have this handheld, excuse me, that's a hiccup, not a burp. Not that it matters. People burp, people fart. It's okay. I have like an X-Acto like, grindy plug-in one over there that I use for my regular pencils, but for colored pencils and graphite and stuff like that, or charcoal pencils, something like that, usually that'll get destroyed. And again, not so much now, but in the past, I've had to be on the move and like sharpen things, even a regular pencil, and they would break and break and break. This is the best one I found for not breaking. It has a nice big reservoir, looks like a healing potion, so that's a bonus. And it's Dux, D-U-X, Alvin, made whatever, like you could, here, look, if you really care, you could see the number, I hope. Look it up. I got it on Amazon. I feel like it was, I want to say it was like $10. Might have been $8, might have been $12. I don't remember exactly. But I've had it for years and it works great. So I recommend this for the sharpening needs. I'm going to put this here and kind of record what I'm doing because you can't really see what I'm doing. The first thing I'm going to do is take a light brown, because this character is mostly monochromatically brown, but I also wanted to do heavy shadows for, like, again, there's like a light blasting out of their face, and I feel like it just washed the whole thing out. So let me, yeah, this brown is definitely lighter, so I'm going to see if I can go in and just put a couple little brown highlights on top. A little bit. Yeah. I don't know if I love it. I'm certainly not ruining the card or anything, but I feel like, I wonder if it's a thing where I need to blend the colored pencil as much as I need to blend the Copic, so I might be just giving myself more work without... Is the extra work I'm putting in now worth the return I'm going to get? I don't know, but I'm going to put a little bit in. It's making the color look a little richer, but... See, here's the thing, though. I don't even know that... it's not ruining it, but I don't know that it was necessary. I kind of don't think I should have done this, but because I put it in a few places, I have to hit it in all the places, otherwise it'll look like, oops, a mistake, or why is it only, you know, a little bit added here? So now I'm kind of just adding it everywhere so it looks on purpose. Arguably, it looks a little bit better. It certainly doesn't look worse. Okay, but that was one thing. The main thing I wanted to do, though, where is it? Just get this yellow, which is already kind of shaded, and try to put some yellow highlights around the areas where this eye flash is going, which is hard to do because I have to basically leave them white and then color them with the Copic after. I can't, it's not like paint where I could put it in later, but with the colored pencil, I'm actually having better luck. I am filling in some gaps here that were like a light gray, or I'm even coloring over some of the fully colored character to make it look a little bit more like a shine. I'm still not ever going to reach what I had in my mind of what this was going to be because I'm too far down the road of, you know, this is what we have, but I am getting a bit more bright flashness out of it that I was missing just by adding this yellow. Yeah, I think this was a good idea. I think, like with the colored microns, it's going to take more experimentation to really get the effects and use out of it that some people do and that I might want. But just this little bit I did here makes me feel a lot better about it. The other thing I want to do, I had this one too, which is sort of more of an orange that I was going to use. Maybe I'll try just a little bit on the character itself. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with that. Okay, then, oops, I just stabbed myself. Luckily, it's a very dull point. Didn't pierce the skin. I have 3 tattoos. Most people don't know this. I have one here, I have one here, and then I have a small circular blue tattoo on my leg that I gave myself in 3rd grade by stabbing myself with a pencil while singing "We Are the World." Okay, so now I'm going to take white. This is because I use a whiteout pen to add white, and I know a lot of people use like white acrylic paint, which I actually just found I had some in that bin, assuming it's not completely used up. But then I have to get a brush out and clean it, and it's, again, these are supposed to be done relatively quickly, although some people are doing like full paintings. It's such a strange gamut. Like the quality of my art on these, I feel like falls very much in the center. Like there are people on these sets that I see doing that are like so far above me that it's like, how they must be getting hundreds of dollars for their APs because the work they're putting into them is nuts and they're amazing. And then there are people that are like professional level comic book artists, you know, that work for big name companies. And then there's me and other people like me that have made a living as an artist that, you know, are doing good standard jobber work, you know. And then there's people who are like hobbyists that clearly this is their first professional job or something. And so it's very, and as far as I know, it's not like the pay scale isn't like wildly different for everybody as far as I know. So it's a very strange industry that I've only recently got into, and I definitely think subject matter is going to be key for me to do anything else in this, because I don't love sketch cards, you know, and I don't love the. Yeah, it's about the subject matter. Doing some Mystery Science Theater, doing some Ultraman, doing some monsters, that's cool. If I get a chance to do something else that I like actually, as much as I'm not taking commissions, I just turned down a commission from a friend of mine, which I was a bum to have to do. But as much as I'm turning down commissions, I did talk to somebody who's doing a vintage toy card set from like the 70s, 80s, 90s. And I was like, well, you know, yeah, if you're looking for some art, I guess I do some for that. And that's probably not going to happen, or won't happen for a long time. But it's because it's vintage toys, and that's something I'm interested in, not because it's a card set. I was about to show this to you. I can't. I will say, again, it didn't bring it to where I wanted it to be in the early stages, but I'm happier with it now than I was before I did this. And if I had planned on using these ahead of time, I probably would have got an even better result. But for now, I'm going to stop, because I will definitely overwork it if I keep going. So. Wow, it's sprayed out. So I worked on a sketch card today. I'm not done. I finished the rough. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, because I didn't have one in mind already. And so I was looking at my iPad, and I found I had done a rough of Ultraman at some point that I forgot about. And so I was like, oh, well, this is like 90% done. I'll just use this one. Of course, that led to an hour or two of redrawing it, so it wasn't no longer 90% done. But I finished it. Started transferring it onto the card. I have the inks like mostly done, and at this point I'm really unhappy with it. I don't know, I lost something in translation. Whatever, I'll figure it out. But I'll finish that up by the end of the day today, and if I do one tomorrow, then I just have to do a half of one over the weekend. But whatever, it's nice out. I'm actually on my way to Target to do some grocery shopping before dinner, but I stopped at the mailbox because one of the Copic refills I ordered came in. So connecting to the last things I was talking about. Also, regarding doing effects, this Ultraman is going to be shooting a specium ray from his arm, which, if you know anything about, it doesn't matter, it's an energy blast, if you know anything about Ultraman. And so I want to do it with just color, but I, learned last time that I can't do, what the heck? Oh, there's a package. We got a package delivery, and instead of putting it in front of the house, it's in front of my car in our driveway. That's weird, so I got to deal with that. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. So I don't know what's going on. I got my Copic things, mail, whatever. Went to the store, came back. I'm working on this Ultraman card that is literally Ultraman. And yeah, like last time I'm struggling, and like last time I'm kind of saving it. Well, actually, no. Last time I was happy with the drawing, and then I was unhappy with the coloring. This time I was happy with the drawing, and it got worse, and now I'm saving it with the coloring and the shading. It's funny, because again, it's all sliding scale, because it's better than some other cards I've done, but anyway, I used the Micron on the off-brand Micron on the specium ray, as I started talking about, and I used it a little bit on some details for the eyes and the timer indicator on his chest, which are all glowing. And now I'm going over it with some blue colored pencil, and I'm going to go over some white colored pencil. And I think what's happening is, again, not as good as I wanted it to be, not exactly the effect I wanted, but compared to how I did the specium ray on a previous card, much better, much closer to what it looks like and or what I want it to look like. Great, just busted a point. You're a point. Yeah, I'm gonna stop. All right, well, I worked on it. Honestly, the Microns and the blue didn't really save it. It was the white color pencil that really did it. Put a nice glow and kind of covered up some flaws, and that was it. So happily, 2 done. I got to do 1.5 more. I'm probably going to bleed into the weekend a little bit. What are you going to do? It's 4 o'clock on Friday. I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday, but part of the reason I fell behind... Did I mention? I think I talked about how I didn't get enough sleep, but also my cat puked all over the house like 4 or 5 different times, and I had to give it medicine, and that... It didn't necessarily even take up time that I could have been working, but it added to my stress and exhaustion when I finally got a chance to not work. But that being said, I theoretically have to do, well, not theoretically, I scheduled myself to do 3.5 cards per week. I have 2 done. I finished half. I did the digital rough of the new one today. So either tonight, hopefully I'll finish it tonight. If I don't, then I have to work on it. I'm gonna have to work over the weekend regardless. I'm not worried that I won't hit my deadline totally, but I had been getting done by Friday and then getting a little bit extra done. So I might burn that half card buffer that I had. What are you gonna do? I'm still on track. I started working on another thing, sort of a Gazbot thing, but it might end up doing something else with it, so I can't show it to you right now, and I haven't worked on the horror. And there's some kind of chaos happening that I have to look into right now. Yeah, I am Jan, I am. Yeah, I'm doing another one of these car videos. Deal with it! Deal with it. I'm dealing with the heat from having the windows up all of a sudden. But, so yeah, my cat was sick yesterday, and so today was not bad. I didn't get as much done as I like, but whatever. Why did I start recording again? I had a thing to say. I don't remember what I was going to say. Yeah. I remember now. So, COVID. Talking about COVID. And everything being shut down or semi-shut down. It's kind of opening. Vaccines, blah, blah. It's different everywhere. It's different state to state, county to county sometimes. But where we are right now, things are starting to open up a little bit. The conventions are starting to get planned towards the later part of the year. And the movie theater, it's a small privately owned movie theater up in San Francisco where I went to see Godzilla vs. King Kong a couple weeks ago. The same group that invited me to that puts on Godzilla festivals, which I normally attend along with some other artists and vendors and stuff in the lobby. It's like calling it a convention is too much. It's a movie theater where they have people selling things. Sometimes they have a guest that goes up on stage or whatever. They're going to have a big one in August, assuming everything's going well in August. But they're having the theater's reopening for the first time since COVID, I think. And they're going to open with a smaller Godzilla Fest, which will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I was invited to do this a month and a half, 2 months ago, and I've been hemming and hawing and not wanting to get my answer because I was waiting to see how it was going to go, and I had to talk with, my wife about it and figure out what's safety and blah, 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 blah. And basically, I had to make a decision yesterday or the day before, and I said yes. I originally said I could only do it Saturday and Sunday because it's weird because they're having movies starting as early as 3 o'clock on Friday, but I'm like, people have work and school, so I don't know, I guess people are taking off or whatever, but not just the people that are vending, but also like people going to the shows. I don't understand how that works. And I originally thought I wouldn't be able to go at all because Q works, and so then I wouldn't be able to go. But she's going to finagle it so that she gets off a little bit early, or at least doesn't have a meeting and can just keep things low key for the last hour or so of work. So I can leave. I'm still gonna get there late, but I'll get there Friday, set up, kind of catch the tail end of that, and then be all good for the weekend. And so I'm excited and nervous at the same time because I haven't done a show in a long time. This is one of the shows I most want to do, like on the list of the 3 top shows that I would want to do in a year. This is one of them. And so I don't want to miss it, and I'm looking forward to it because I know everybody that's going to be there practically. So there's a little bit of a family reunion, class reunion kind of thing. And I always make money. I don't always make a ton of money, but I've never lost money. And it's driving distance from my house. I'm home every night, so it's and it's Godzilla, so it's exactly the kind of thing I want to be working on. But now prep starts, and part of it is prep of wow, I haven't set up for a booth in a year. So I got to make sure I know where all my stuff is, get it all ready to go, make sure I have enough prints, things like that. Then there's the added prep of being safe, of I normally wear a mask, but maybe I need a face shield and probably need an area to wipe stuff down. And am I going to take credit cards? Do the safety prep side of it, which I've never had to worry about before. And then there's the part that is the most potentially damaging to all my plans for the horror and all that, because I have to finish up my Ultraman cards, obviously. And with whatever free time I had in between or when it's done, I was going to be working on the horror and personal work. But I feel I'm doing this show, I should have new prints. And I do have new prints, but most of them are Power Rangers prints. And this is a Godzilla show. I occasionally sell some Power Rangers in that, but people are going to be looking for Godzilla. And I'm trying to think of what Godzilla or Kaiju related prints do I have that are new since the last time I did a show there over a year ago. And maybe 2 or 3, not a lot. Which shouldn't really matter, but we get a lot of the same people there. You don't have anything new. I'm I don't know. It's partially because I want to make sales, and I'm worried that repeat people are going to have everything I already have, that they want, that I've already brought there before. So without bringing new stuff, I'm not going to make new sales. And part of it's just there's other artists, and I feel like I'm going to be judged. Honestly, this guy, it's been a year. He's got 1 new piece. And it's true that I'm lazy. It's true that I'm a slow artist, and it's true that I'm a procrastinator, and it's true that my life has gotten stupid busy, just like a lot of people's. But all that aside, I probably could have done more work. And I sort of did, but I worked on other things. I'm working on these sketch cards and Power Ranger stuff and whatever else. But none of that matters when I'm look, you've got 10 new pieces. Great. Here's my 1, So I feel pressure to create at least one new big piece, Godzilla-themed piece. I don't know if I'll do that or not, but this is what's going on in my head. Anyway, it's getting really hot in here, so I'm gonna go. 2:16 Saturday afternoon. Yesterday, I did the Power Rangers interview with Arthur Ranford, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but whenever I do an interview, especially if it's with I don't be insulting, a lesser name in the Power Rangers franchise, put it that way, I tend to do a lot of research. I have to prep technical stuff, but I also do a lot of research and look at their IMDb and any interviews I've seen with them so that I know things I can ask them, because, he was only on one episode of Power Rangers, so there's only so much to discuss there. So that took up a lot of my free time yesterday, because I also did it very last minute. But anyway, we did the interview, it went fine, blah, blah, blah. Have another interview coming up this Friday with an actual Ranger actor that was on a whole season, so I won't have to do as much research, but I still might have to prep for it, and that's going to take up some of my time this weekend coming up. Today, Saturday, I did finish transferring the third card, and I finished the rough, printed it out, and I'm halfway through transferring it to the card. After I get off this, I'm going to go finish that up and try to get that card completed right now. That's my next goal. Guess maybe by the signage where I am. It's dinner time, and through a series of events, we're getting takeout at Taco Bell, which is never going to hurt my feelings. What is going to hurt my feelings is I'm getting a caffeinated beverage of Baja Blast, which is one of my favorite sodas, and you can only get at Taco Bell, but it's like 5, and I normally try to get in bed by 9, get to sleep by 10, 11, 12 if I'm really in a bind. And this almost ensures that I won't be getting to sleep until that time, which is not good, but I think tomorrow's going to be a rough day. I think I'm going to have to pull some extra hours, and then I've said this before, it's kind of a terrible way to think about things, but I'm like, tomorrow's going to be hard and suck anyway. So I might as well have some soda I like tonight and maybe stay up a little bit later and do some fun stuff or get some art done, because tomorrow, if I go to bed the right time, tomorrow's still going to be hard. So why not just make it a little bit harder but have fun? That's kind of, it's a bad idea, but that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Still Sunday. I'm going to end it here. I was going to let it go a little... I didn't do the Mystery Science Theater cards. I'm going to make that its own video, because I keep mentioning it. I'm just going to make that its own video. I'm going to end this here. This week's going to be weird. We've got a lot of stuff going on. I'm going to end it here. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. But because I'm so far... I'm behind in what I should have done for the sketches theoretically. I did 3 cards, I should do 3.5 minimum. But because I was so ahead of the ball, and because I gave myself so much leeway in my schedule, if over the next 2 weeks I do 3 a week, I will be perfectly on schedule, a little bit on the early side still. So go me, which is good, because I might even need to go a little further than that, because now I have other things that are coming in that I have to work on. None of which is the horror. But yeah, well, we got to do what we got to do. So there it is. And did I say I was going to end it? Because I am. Done? Not me, fools. I'm back for one more little tidbit. It is Sunday night. No, it's Monday morning. It is 12:11 a.m. Very late for this Gazbot. I am in bed. There's a TV on in front of me. I'm preparing to actually sleep now, or at least soon. I ended up staying up late on purpose. I did some housework. I reorganized some stuff, and then I played some video games with my wife later than I normally would. And in between games, I was working on the rough for the next sketch card, which, if I finish that, actually puts me exactly what my previous goal was. I wasn't worried about it because I knew it'd be okay. And then I got off, and I was like, well, let me just kind of work on this a little bit more. And I ended up getting on, I ended up watching Josh Kemble. His channel was, he was doing a live sketch thing, and I was like, hey, what's up? And he's like, come on. So I went on his show for a while, and while I did, I finished up my next sketch card, which is a little bit ambitious. It's less detail-oriented than some of my others, but it was Ultraman. The actual Ultraman are always more ambitious for me, because he's got a lot of specific lines, and it's, easier to get things wrong because he has actual fingers as opposed to claws, things like that. There's like objective things that need to be right. But I also did something that I haven't done previously, where I was doing one of his attacks, which is his slash attack. It's like this spinning energy blade frisbee thing. And I kind of looked at a reference picture, but then rather trying to replicate that as best I could, I just used that as a jumping off point and kind of made my own pose and changed it a little bit, as though I was actually drawing a comic that he was in, as opposed to trying to recreate. Like, it's tough with a lot of these suits and these Japanese characters that have been around forever, because it's like they need to be right, and there's a lot of iconic poses and stuff. But I kind of decided, you know what, I'm just gonna do the iconic pose, do the iconic attack, but just draw it. I still looked at the reference a lot, I gotta be honest. And it took me a while, but I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I'm very worried about now transferring this to a card, because I ended up making
the figure, it's always hard when I shrink it down to make it could fit the card, but I did it a forced perspective so that the energy is like really close to the camera and the figures could be like that big on the card. So we'll see how it goes. But the point is that I did work. I ended up staying up late and doing all the wrong things I shouldn't, but I ended the night by having a nice art chat with Josh Kemble on his show, which I'll put a link to below, and getting another rough done. So, you know, there you go. Good. Now for real, goodbye and good night.
I think you're awake. Please confirm